I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Oops the Podcast. I am Giulio. I'm joined by Francis. Francis, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Dude, I have some fun life updates for you.
Oh, I love your life.
Life.
Well, when you have an update, it's a big deal. You've grown so much since we first met.
Yeah,
so
you're right. You're right.
I
actually.
can't wait to hear it.
You're right.
Lay it on me.
So, first of all, I am going to begin drinking again.
Yeah. Yes.
So I made it 2 months without drinking.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a long time.
That's a long time.
I broke it. I was supposed to wait till March 11th to kind of revisit it. Ricky, who we know, obviously one of my good pals, a good pal of the pod, he had his birthday dinner. We were all kind of at dinner and they ordered shots and I was like, this is a good time to break it.
Totally.
So I did that and I went to the nutritionist and I sort of told her, I was like, listen, like, I love drinking. I love it. I was like, for so many reasons, like it honestly balances me out mentally in a way that's really healthy. I know this sounds like an alcoholic saying why alcohol is important to them, but just hear me out. Like my creative process, like during the day when I'm like doing the unfun parts of, I'm like kind of like doubting myself and wondering. And like when I'm drunk is when I'm like not afraid to be like, that's a fucking dope idea. Like I love it. And like, I keep that with me. And the next day I'm like, okay, drunk me was right. This is dope. I got to keep doing it type of thing. You know,
Okay,
I have that. Also, like, dude, I love getting fucking drunk and banging my girlfriend, dude. Like, like we, you know, it's fun. That's like a fun thing. And isn't that the goal in a relationship? Like, you know, getting drunk and having a great time with the person you're with, your partner, whoever you're dating. Like, that's fun. You know what I mean? And like, I miss that, dude. I've missed that during this 2-month period. And so we are kind of like tinkering my program to incorporate a healthy amount of drinking.
Oh, okay.
And back into my life. Cause I'm not just fully giving up. I've committed to never being psycho about fitness again. Like it's whatever, you know what I mean? I'd like to be in acceptable shape where I think I look my best on camera, but like, I don't need to sacrifice fun life stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So whatever. So that's where we're at. And I'm excited about, you know, this next step in my.
What do you guys do when you get drunk together?
We just have fun, dude. Like
Do you eat?
No, like I don't eat when I drink.
Like play games? Do you laugh a lot?
Yeah, we have fun. We go out, do stuff, play games, joke around.
Do you get drunk at the same speed and sort of get to the same place together? Or does one of you tend to outpace the other?
I am capable of outpacing her, but like the net result is that we end up in a similar place.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't get too wasted and she doesn't either. Like we do it in a way where like we'll be hungover, but we don't like drunk fight really. We don't.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Do you remember the day where we were hanging out with you two and you came over to the back garden and there's the picture of us. There's the picture of you and me that we posted to the account where my eyes are all over the place.
I was wearing this hoodie.
Right.
The SpaceX
Would
hoodie.
you have said that you were very drunk that day or not?
I became very drunk that day. At that moment, I was not yet.
I was really drunk that day.
But you had like been day drinking.
Yeah.
Like we met you when you guys had already had a few.
I'd had 5 margaritas.
Yeah. By the end of that night, I was pretty banged up.
Okay.
I think, dude, everybody at your house that night was pretty banged up.
Yeah, those were the parties where it was
that was fun.
Mid-COVID, and it was like the only outdoor space anyone had access to.
And that was also like pre-second wave. Like everything was sort of like trending upward for a moment as far as like the ability to hang with each other, which then quickly kind of came to a halt.
Yeah. No, but I say that we have not mastered it. And I think the reason is, you know, some of my demons surface when I'm drunk.
Like, in what way?
Um,
Like your inner demons, or sort of like your bad
suspicions, insecurities,
Right.
jealousy, things that I never feel sober. And
Interesting.
that's like, a lot of people get that.
jealousy. For me, I'm more likely to be jealous too
Mhm.
when I'm drunk.
And you know, misinterpreting things or
Yeah.
taking things to heart that weren't meant intensely whatsoever, feeling things too strongly. And I'm not a spiraler when I'm drunk. Most of the time I'm fine. But I will say that where my girlfriend and I never fight sober, what fights we have typically happen in or around drinking.
Okay, that makes sense.
But that's not to say that I would say like maybe 5% of the time that we're drinking together.
Right. And I think that's normal. And we, of course, dude, like we sort of got into a tiny little tiff the other night because I was looking through a buddy of mine, or Hillary was looking through a buddy of mine's phone because he was showing her this girl he was hooking up with, and she scrolled too far and there was a picture of a vibrator, and he's like, oh my God, don't, like a picture of her playing with herself.
Your buddy's phone.
In my buddy's phone.
It's on your buddy's phone.
Yes.
And
And-
so your girlfriend saw a nude.
Of some other girl, yeah. But no, just from the waist down. Of vagina and a
It's
big
a pretty graphic
pink
thing to see.
vibrator. Yeah, and she was kind of like, oh my God. And then she said, she made some comment later about it, and it ended up turning into a discussion of me receiving pictures like that and how, like, I don't know. And it just turned into like one of those kind of like drunken conversations where she was just kind of like annoyed at me.
Yeah. Wait, were you receiving pictures back in the day?
Back in the day, like, you know, the idea of me saying that I had received a bunch of pictures like that or something.
Yeah, well,
over
we've talked about that on the podcast
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
So, you know, and but that's sort of the extent of it. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to act like we never fight. Of course, we, you know, all
No, but
couples do.
I think it's a very good thing if you are a drinking couple to sort of be on the same wavelength, because alcohol can really untie
Yeah.
a lot of the foundation that people have, and sort of all of a sudden you're off in uncharted waters, and kind of anything can happen.
It can show you that your foundation isn't a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think, you know, if you're with somebody who you are compatible with, it will be less of a problem than,
Right.
because, dude, like all the things that you're kind of discussing, and I know you explicitly said it's not a thing that happens regularly. We're all more susceptible to that stuff, I think, when we're drunk. But I've had girlfriends in the past where I would dread going out and drinking with them because I knew it was going to show me how we're not compatible.
Right.
B, she was going to do things that would upset me and make me jealous and make me feel bad and all that stuff, you know?
Mhm.
And that sucks.
Mhm.
So you want to try to avoid that, obviously, at all costs. But dude, this reminds me of an email that I saw that we got.
Oh, good.
So I think I'm going to pull it up. This email is called Girlfriend Obnoxious and Oblivious When Drunk. Right? This is perfect segue.
That's good.
My girlfriend and I have been dating for about 9 months, and she's overall super lovely and nice, and I enjoy being with her. However, she may be the most annoying drunk person of all time.
Oh, no.
She's a huge lightweight and gets fucked up so fast. Additionally, she's super emotional and handsy and always repeats how much she loves me, which is embarrassing as fuck.
Oh, God.
But that's not the worst part. I'm assuming he means in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, she started revealing personal things about me and private parts of our relationship. I know people get annoying when drunk, but it's excessive, and my friends have noticed it too. This has crossed a line, and now I literally dread drinking with her. And whenever she says she's drinking, I will always try to stay home. This sucks a ton, especially because I love her dearly besides this. What the fuck do I do? Honestly, any advice will help at this point.
Okay. Can I take a shot at this?
Please.
This guy, you need to sit her down in a sober moment and have a come to Jesus conversation. Because this is not a small issue. You need to say, when you drink, this is the problem, and this is why I don't like it. And if this continues to happen, it's going to hurt our chances of having a future together.
Totally. Well said. I completely agree.
You're perfectly within your rights to say that. If people can't hold their liquor, then they don't deserve to be drinking that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a shitty thing.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah. Dude,
What do you think?
You just nailed it. I completely agree. I think that like when she's drunk is a time during you guys being together.
Yes.
That's not like a thing that doesn't count.
No.
She's great besides the fact when she's drunk, but when she's drunk, she isn't. And you got to work on that.
It's also so selfish of someone who is not self-aware enough to know that when they drink like that, they're just relying on their boyfriend or girlfriend to become a babysitter.
You're right.
Right? Because then I'm sure that this guy then just becomes like Mr. Damage Control. Like, okay, let's give you a water now and let's get in an Uber. It's time to go home. And, you know, at the same time, like if you constantly just take on that role and become that person, there's no reason for them to assume you're annoyed by it.
Right.
Which is why you've got to speak up.
You got it.
I've had to have that conversation before with women that I've dated.
Me too.
Where I've been like, you blacking out is not fun. It's not funny. It's not cool. It's not like, we're not celebrating how fucked up you got. You know, it sucks.
There's no value there.
It
No
sucks
value.
to be around people who black out when you're dating them.
Yeah.
Because they're not themselves anymore. You're not dating them. You're now all of a sudden you're dating a fucking vegetable.
Yeah.
For the night, who wouldn't know how to find their way home.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't know how to take their own pants off.
Vegetable.
You're dating a vegetable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're basically a caretaker for the evening. You've become a hired nurse.
That's so
And
crazy,
that means that you can't have fun to the extent because you have to fucking watch out for the health and well-being of this person.
And you can't look forward to things.
Yeah.
Because any social engagement means you have to be keep this person alive. It's like that level. It's like those levels in a video game where you have to keep a person alive.
Yeah.
And when they die, you lose the level. It would be an easy level, but you have to keep, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
And I think a lot of the time this happens with people who are dating when they're like 24, 25, right? Because people coming out of college is this padded room in which you can black out and somehow there's campus police, there are university health services, there's 4 sorority sisters to hold your hair and give you a bucket as you puke, and somehow you just wake up in your bed and life starts over. It's one day of Groundhog's Day after another.
Right.
And there are no consequences, basically.
And you know, everything's in walking distance probably.
Yeah.
Or sort of, you know what I mean? Yeah.
You're not going to end
It's
up on the
confined.
freeway. Right. So when you're 24 and 25 and you start moving into the real world, blacking out, you know, the burden on the handler is far greater.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if you're dating somebody like, and they're constantly expecting you to just be their college handler as they're accustomed to,
Dude, fuck that.
sit them down in a sober moment and just be like, you need to stop this or it's going to break us.
Yeah. Dude, it's tough. I have like some of the worst memories of my life are of things like this.
Yeah.
Like one time, a girl that I was kind of on and off with, like I was much younger, I was college years. We were trying to make it work. So she had like a thing with this guy that I knew. We weren't together, but it was it put me in a tough position because this guy was related to somebody else I was friends with, and then it just made things complicated in the friend group for a moment. Eventually, it was completely fine, got over it, and me and her are trying to work things out. So we go out one night and we're trying, and eventually she like has that drink that puts her over the limit.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I can't find her. And I'm looking around. We're at this place, like this like club kind of place. I'm looking around, can't find her. I finally find her outside on her knees, crying to the guy from before.
Oh God.
Begging him to like take her back, crying.
Oh my God.
And I go outside and he looks at me, he puts his hands up. He's like, dude, I have nothing to do with this. And I was like, dude, it's completely fine. This is like not your bad. It's all good. And she goes, and she looks at me crying and goes, I'm sorry, I don't love you anymore. Dude, it was literally like the worst moment of my life. Can you But that's the type of shit, like it's not something that's worth putting up with.
Hold on a second. Wait. So that was her breaking up with you?
But this is the thing, like we weren't back together yet, but we were like trying to be. So like we went out to this place together, me and her together. And eventually I can't find her. And then that's what was happening.
Oh my God. That's
bad, right?
Oof. That's not ripping off the Band-Aid. That is ripping out the stitches,
ripping out the heart,
ripping out the staples, taking out the IV tube, and, ripping your own hair off too, all in one rip. Boy, oh boy. Well, Giulio, here's the thing. Like, have you heard about the sunk cost fallacy?
Of course. It's Econ 101.
So the sunk cost fallacy is this idea that people are willing to put up with so much simply because they've put a lot into something.
Right. Like the idea that because you bought a plane ticket, now you have to go because you've bought the plane ticket.
Yeah, if you have concert tickets, the concert comes, the day of the concert, you're violently ill, but you feel like you have to go and suck it up just to somehow justify the purchase of the concert tickets. You've paid too much, you've come too far. But it also applies across the board, and it applies in relationships a lot. So-and-so, we've dated 9 months.
Right.
I love this girl, but she keeps blacking out, and it's impossible every time she's drinking. I want to make it work. I want to make it work. We've come so far. I don't want to start again. Here's the reality, right? The time, the money, it's gone.
Yes.
It's worthless.
Yes.
It's worthless.
They say you're supposed to ignore the impulse. Like the sunk cost is a sunk cost. You got to think about it with a fresh mind.
Going to that concert is not going to get you the money for the concert tickets back. Continuing to date this person is not going to somehow pay for the 9 months that you already put in
that you've lost
to the relationship. You will not get that time back. So if you're unhappy, end it. You know what I mean? Relationships, like, stop this idea that you're pot committed.
Totally.
Don't be afraid to change your life today. I know it is a terrifying proposition, but time sunk is not time that binds you to a future together.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, sometimes you just got to cut your losses. If you're not happy with somebody, you can't, it's like trying to force a fucking screw into a hole it doesn't fit into.
Yeah.
It's never going to fit.
Yeah.
And, taking that step backward and feeling shitty, one step backward to make 2 steps forward, I think is what they say. Something like that. Sometimes you just got to not be afraid. Like you'll find the right person.
I love it. All right. I got some funny DMs for you.
Let's hear it.
Actually, before I say that, there's something I forgot to cover in the last episode, which I wanted to tell you about, which is this. So when I went on that bachelor party, I was away for 4 days. My girlfriend has a very chummy relationship with our doormen and has long conversations with them. And so they were very aware that I was away because she had told them, he's away in Jackson Hole on a bachelor party. And then on Saturday or whatever, while I was away, she had a coworker friend of hers come over to have a drink or whatever, a guy. And she told me about this, no problem. And then he left. And then when I got home, she, told me about it and was like walking me through her days while she was here. And then she said, I wonder if I should say something to the doorman about the fact that I had a guy over while Francis was away. They knew he was away, and whether they thought that I was having an affair.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I had it in my mind of, are my boys, the doormen, not gonna tell me that my girl is cheating on me?
That is really funny.
Like, are they
Whose
just gonna
side are
be
they
on
on?
her side, like letting dudes come in when I'm away and not raising it to
That
me?
is fucking great.
And now, do I appreciate their discretion of the residents in the building, or am I annoyed that they're not being loyal to me and letting me know that my girlfriend is having guys over?
You're like, so what happened this weekend? Oh, you know,
Yeah.
nothing much around here. Just another day.
Dude, I almost
really?
wanted to do that. I almost wanted to be like, yeah, we have any
this?
visitors?
Any-
Anybody come in here? Yeah.
You know, not that I can remember. But Jose worked that shift Saturday afternoon.
Oh, did he? Did he?
Yeah. I actually had it.
Huh. Well, I'll keep that in mind when I'm coming up with my Christmas bonus. Keep
That's
Jose
great.
in mind.
Dude, so the guy who's the porter in our building is named Pete.
Huh.
So Pete the porter, Pete the sweep. We have a lot of Pete's.
We
in
have
our
a
life,
Pete.
dude.
We have a Pete as our doorman.
Really?
One of our doormen is a Pete. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
All right, I got something else I want to show you really quick.
Okay.
So this is a DM I got from Brody, and this has to do a little bit with the soap balm
Oh, beautiful.
situation.
Love it.
Okay, he
The
says
never-ending saga.
This is so fucking funny. Let me preface this by saying I do understand the difference between soap in the sense of dish, laundry, and body. But at the end of the day, I don't believe different soaps do a different task, and I refuse to bend the knee. Recently, I started dating a girl, and when she found out that I use dish soap to wash my body, hair, or dishes, she was appalled. I stated on the bottle, it says how safe and cleansing it is for your skin. So what's the big deal? She was beside herself that I did not have 3 equal soaps for these 3 different jobs. Preposterous. I challenge any scientist to prove to me that at their own individual core, these different soaps are really that different at all. I will never buy body wash, hand soap, and dish soap separately. It's a conspiracy.
Dude, that is great.
Love the pod. Just wanted to pass along to you guys. Dude,
He's just using cleaning products to wash his body.
the idea of using dish soap as body soap is
That's insane.
just Ajax, like, leave your countertops
Yeah.
sparkling, lemon scented
Bathroom cleaner.
armpit soap
Dude, that's great.
is so savage.
He makes like an interesting point, but like it just seems like it's rougher. Like your hands can take dish soap, but like maybe
It's a great
but it's
point.
a good point.
It's
though.
a great point. And I'm sure
It's funny to think about.
I'm sure that so much of soap is marketing and consumerism and saying you need, 20 different soaps for the different
Right.
skincare and all of that. Having said that, the idea to me at this point in my life of washing my face with like a bar of soap. They say that the
Right.
Dove soap is actually a decent thing to use
On
for
your
your. It's
face.
very gentle.
Yeah.
Um.
Because that's the thing. Your face will get really dried out by
Yeah.
using too harsh of soap on it.
All these different.
Right?
I'm sure the chemical properties are all pretty similar, though.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude, that's hilarious.
So funny. I thought that was so funny.
Well, dude, it sounds like our pal over here is half-assing his body
Yeah.
washing experience.
Yeah.
You need all 3 soaps.
Oh, the old, our
I
old
snuck
buddy.
that in there, huh?
Yeah. He's not half-assing
Our
his
old
soap
pals,
game.
Not half-assing
He's
the
going
soap game.
5-1.
Got to go all the way.
Got to go all the way. Our pals over at Don't Half Ass Anything, they are a phenomenal lifestyle brand. They make tremendous merch. They are currently gearing up to Summit Half Dome in Yosemite.
Yeah, I think they do. They do food reviews. I mean, they're really going for it. The model of let's do it all
Yeah.
and fucking not have ass in it, I guess.
We check out, we like them a lot. They have an amazing Instagram account. They've got great sweatshirts and hoodies, and they also have this ass plate, which is a super fun
It's hilarious.
gag kind of novelty gig, a gift, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
they're very nice, good people. and we like them a lot and definitely support them.
Yeah, check out their website, read some of their great mountaineering blogs. If you have any interest in adventure, if you like Giulio's Pack Light pod, this is a good pivot as well. They're all about outdoors and mountaineering and stuff like that. So check out their Instagram, Don't Half Ass Anything, and check out their website, don'thalfassanything.com. And if you like their merch, which we do, use promo code OOPS15. You'll get 15% off today. Check them out.
Awesome.
I got another DM for you.
Please, let's hear it.
Okay. This one is a little more serious, but I thought it was really interesting.
Love it.
Hey, Francis, I have a question for you. You are extremely wise, so I feel you're the perfect person to ask this question.
Love it.
What am I supposed to do when life gets boring? Every day has become the same. I feel like I should be capitalizing more on my time. I'm 20 years old and in college. I'm busy, but I am good at managing my time. For reference, I'm a full-time student. I have 2 jobs, and I have a 3.91 GPA.
Jesus.
I have a few friends, no girlfriend. My life feels so plain. Every day begins at 5 a.m. and ends at 10. What should I do to break up the monotony? All right. So first and foremost, I would say, and I think we've said this before, that 18 to 23-year-olds had the worst run in COVID.
Yes.
I think life
Robbed
fucked them
of their formative
the
years.
most. 18 years of your life, you are told all the time, college is going to be the most fun time of your life.
Right.
You finally get there. You do your SATs. You keep your grades up. You send in all your applications. You get your teacher recommendations. You come up with your student loans, or you scrape by paying, taking shitty summer jobs to pay away to have some money in college, whatever it is. All of a sudden you get there and nope,
Yeah.
it's not happening. Can't go to campus, online, stay at home with your parents, take these shitty online courses. Whole year of that.
Sucks.
No end in sight.
It sucks.
That is such a bummer.
It's a bummer. But to be honest, it doesn't sound like this kid would have that much time to do anything anyway. I mean, he's, getting through college. He's working to have money to do stuff, and he's doing really well and getting good grades. I don't think there's anything wrong with like sacrificing when you have to so that it can pay off down the road. I mean, if you continue with these great grades and it just sounds like this person's really on top of their stuff, like you will benefit from that.
It's true. But I do think that this question of boredom is a very relevant one. And it's one that I think we are uniquely positioned to tackle. Because boredom is is something that afflicts a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And the advice that I gave to this guy, I gave him like 5 different options.
Love it. Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but like the first thought I had was, I said, do you like exercising? He's like, yeah, I like to go for a run. And I was like, all right, well, why don't you try to get your fucking mile time down to 6.5 minutes?
Right.
Or
That's a fun
6:15
project.
or 6 minutes, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like look up some YouTube videos about running training and how to really shave time off.
Mm-hmm.
Because exercising takes a lot of time. And if your issue is that you have too much time that you're bored, go exercise.
Wait, did he mean 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.?
10 p.m.,
Okay.
5 a.m.
Okay.
to 10 p.m.
Jesus.
It's his day. So my thought was like, all right, if you, because exercise can take 2 hours, right?
Right.
So that's a pretty big chunk of your day.
Yeah.
And what's cool is that if you set an exciting goal like that, over time, you build the habit of working towards it, not only will you kill the bird of boredom in some way, you'll end up with like a killer body.
Right. You'll self-improve.
Feel fucking awesome.
And it'll feel extra gratifying because when it takes that much time to do something, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my first thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like hobbies and work.
Yeah.
And reading books. Put together a great book list. Like people often ask me for book recommendations. I rec books on the podcast all the time. I'll put together a book list for people at some point that we'll post on the Instagram so people have an actual thing to look at. But Reading, you know, I'm not gonna say pick up another language. That's just way too specific.
Yeah.
But an instrument, dude.
Learn how to do
Instruments are
something.
fun. I love playing my guitar. I love playing the piano. And I'm not that committed to it, but I play probably three times a week
Yeah.
for
it's a lot.
45 minutes, three or four times a week. And, you know, take lessons because that keeps you honest if you can afford it. And just try to build a skill that you can show off to people, because then you'll have something to show as a product of how you solved boredom.
Right. right.
That's kind of my thought.
Yeah, I think it's a good one.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. Like, yeah, you said it. Very good.
When you get bored, what do you do?
So I have like a lot of things that I can do to avoid being bored.
Yeah, you're pretty good at
I'm
not getting bored.
I'm decent at not getting bored. But I have my little projects too, dude. Like I'm in the midst of trying to absorb every room in the entire Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Oh my God.
Have I ever talked about this?
How many times have you been in there?
I have a membership and I go all the time. And dude, there's like hundreds of rooms, and I'm really close. I've almost completed it. I've been to every single room on the first floor. There's this one tiny little room in the American wing that has been closed the entire time, and I'll periodically go check to see if it's open so I can cross it off. I have the map and I cross off each room after I go. And the rule is that I listen to the audio guides if they have it, because you can do it on your phone. And otherwise I'll kind of just like float around and see what speaks to me or not. But that's like a really fun thing to do.
That is a remarkable thing that you're taking on. That is a remarkably,
thanks.
a remarkably sort of Renaissance bohemian undertaking.
Well, dude, I live down the street. So I a couple years ago, and Hillary got me a membership as a gift. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I'm going to start going a lot. It's right there. Why not? And then I kind of thought that I would do that. It's been really rewarding and fun. And I've probably been hundreds of times. Honestly.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
Yeah. Sure, dude.
Dude, I'm a C+ museum goer. C+, I'd give myself. You're an A+.
Well, maybe.
Anybody that's been to the Met 100 times is a fucking legend.
I've been a lot. I've been a lot.
know the janitors.
But I'll tell you what, dude,
you could sleep there and then wake up in a tuxedo and sneak into the Met Ball.
I'll tell you what, I could get anywhere in the Met without a map. Yeah.
You're like
I know it really, really well.
I don't know.
It's
You're
crazy.
like the Eloise of the Met.
But so, dude, this is the problem there's two problems with this project. A is that it's become oppressive a little, which Hillary always says that I take on oppressive interests, where like there are days where it feels like a chore.
Mhm.
I'm slugging through the fucking, some Egyptian thing that I'm not interested at all. Yet I'm doing it because I feel like I have to. She's like, why are you doing that?
I think that's true of everything.
Yeah.
Books, working out.
No, you're right. So yeah, so there's that. But also, dude, sometimes they change things and it's really frustrating. Like the European painting section, there's 2 sections and half of it has been closed this whole time. They moved all the Dutch masterpieces to the back of the museum.
Rembrandt's, Vermeers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Van Eyck, all those guys.
Yeah.
All the whatever, Flemish, Dutch, and all that shit. Anyway, so they recently reopened it and they moved things around. So now stuff that was in, and I don't know what's where. And it's really frustrating and giving me a lot of anxiety. And then I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Mhm.
Like, whatever. So I'll do that. Another thing that I like to do is on the Atlas Obscura website, there are all these cool things in New York that are just like random. And like, if I ever have extra time, I'll just be like, what's near me? And I'll look it up and I'll just go.
Interesting.
So
Do you
Atlas Obscura.
do you wear bird dogs for that?
Dude, it's funny that you brought that up.
I had a feeling you might. I had a feeling you might be wearing bird dogs.
But I'll tell you what, dude, they are the perfect pant for that sort of activity. As we both know, the cool silk lining on the inside will keep your shit nice and cool, despite the different climates. When you're walking around outside and then you go inside the museum, it can get a little hot.
Mhm.
So it's nice to have something that is temperature adjusted. And the same thing with, walking around the city.
Yeah, when I'm at the Met, the 1 or 2 times that I've ever been, I like to think that I was probably wearing my bird dog's pants, because I'll tell you what, Giulio, when I'm in a museum that standing around for so long makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
My body hurts.
Yeah.
My organs settle incorrectly.
I feel you.
And if not for my bird dog's pants, I would need to sit down on those couches in the middle.
Dude, totally. And especially now that the coat check is not a thing. Like you have to carry your coat.
You can't check your pants?
You can't you can't check your pants. You cannot check your pants.
Check your pants at the door.
But just saying, so as far as the like standing, you're also carrying and it can be a little bit pain in the ass. So it's good.
Sure is. Do you give a suggested donation?
No, because I'm a member.
Oh.
So I don't have to buy tickets. So I got that, and then I got another membership as a gift from a friend who joined like the Apollo Circle. So she gets to gift a membership.
Wow.
So she gave it to me, which was really nice.
So you have 2 memberships.
Hillary's expired. The one that I got from
I see.
Isabella, who's basically my sister, is still cooking.
Well, that's
so.
great. Listen,
Really.
if you're going to get a membership to any museum, make sure you do it wearing your bird dog's pants. Go to the museum in your bird dog's pants. You will get a free pair of nunchucks with your first order if you use promo code
Oops.
birddogs.com. Check them out. Our favorite pants and shorts. Great
Love
for
it.
summer.
Thank you. Dude, I got a funny thing that happened to me the other day. So
Yes.
I have a friend who I like to play pranks on. And
Sure.
the last 2 have not gone well. Like I put a bumper sticker on his car that said like, warning, like driver likes cock or something, like something stupid, something so stupid. And he saw it after it, and mind you, during the week that it was on the car, I was the only one who drove the car. So now I'm driving. It's just, and dude, it's an immature, stupid joke, but it's funny. It's like,
funny.
come on, it's pretty funny.
Sometimes those are fun.
So we were cracking up about it. He found it finally and like frantically tried to rip it off his car, and it fucked up the paint on the back of his car.
Oh.
And he got so mad at me. And then I was like, I'm sorry, Dennis. So I brought it to the place to get it fixed. I think it was included in his warranty, so I didn't have to pay. And now he thinks it's hilarious, but at the time he was really upset. So I decided I'd play another prank on him. This guy lives with me. So I live in his house, basically, in his family house.
Mm-hmm.
And his family goes to this country club, and he now is over a certain age where he had to get his own membership.
Oh, that's a tough day.
So he hasn't started getting any bills from them or anything yet. So I thought it would be funny to make a fake bill for him.
Oh my God.
He's out of town. So I'm like, dude, you got a bill from the country club. He goes, fuck, are you serious? And he's coming home in a few days. So I literally make this bill. I print it out. And in the bill, it's like, here at the country club, we love our like seafaring tradition, our commitment to sports. And then I said something like stupid that a country club would never say. And like excluding everybody who isn't whatever, like something like that. And then at the bottom, it was like, please pay Giulio Gallerati $5,000. But I made like the official letterhead, everything. I stuffed it in an envelope. I made the return address from the country club. And I slid it under his door.
Okay.
Hilarious, right?
Super obvious that it's not real.
Super obvious that it's
Yeah.
not real. But when I went to send it to the printer, I accidentally sent it to his mom's printer. And it printed out on his mom's printer. And she sent him a screenshot. She goes, what is this? And he's like, she thought that I was like trying to scam him or something.
Oh my God.
So he goes, Mom, we're best friends. We prank each other. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And she goes like, well, I don't think it's that funny. So now
she's like, what does he have against on you?
Dude, so I wake up to this and then I have to go have this talk with her. I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like, I'm really sorry.
You got in trouble.
I was like, I meant no disrespect. She wasn't, and she was totally cool about it. She's like, oh, I don't care. She's like, I was just confused. Like, she was cool, but it was so awkward having to be like, I meant no disrespect against the country club. I love going there too. Like, I love it there. I know it's weird to see that out of context. It's just, dude, I was like, are you serious?
Having to apologize for things that you really don't think are bad is one of the most fucking, it takes years off your life.
It was so stressful,
You're just
dude.
sitting there feeling like, oh.
I get a text from him with a screenshot of the text from her and him just saying, dude, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that suck?
It sucks. It sucks.
Fuck, man.
That's such a harmless and fun thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, dude.
Classic.
I hope that I never lose the ability to see the light of things like that.
Of a gag.
Yeah.
It's fun, dude.
Yeah. Because they're really, I mean, yes, there is a line, right? There are gags that are harmful.
Yes, of course.
But then there are so many that brighten the world and should not be taken personally. And and everyone thinks the gags are funny until they come to them, until the chickens come home to roost, and then all of a sudden people lose their sense of humor. And you're like, what the fuck happened? Where's the disconnect?
Yeah.
How can you root for the pie on the face of so many other people? And then when someone pies your face,
it's not cool anymore.
You start weeping and screaming and throwing a hissy fit. What the fuck is that about, dude?
That's great. It's true, man.
It happens all the time.
That is true.
Oh, drives me nuts. I got something for you.
Okay.
Okay. Check this out. So, this is a question I have for you.
Sure.
All right. Tell me if we've talked about this.
Okay.
There was a high school in Texas that was they had this assignment where it was called like Medieval Chivalry Day.
Okay.
And every year this English teacher, this history teacher assigned it. The kids, it was a tradition at the school. Kids looked for shallow water, Texas.
Okay.
Right? So probably one of the last bastions of political incorrectness.
Oh, right.
One of the least woke places on earth, you'd have to imagine.
Okay.
That's a total assumption from me, but certainly not, some Berkeley, California enclave of farmers markets.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah,
Totally.
and sensitivity. So, the day, the assignment is like the women, they dress up in sort of medieval garb, and then the men wear sort of medieval stuff. And the women are supposed to like keep their heads bowed, to walk behind the men.
Oh my God.
And but the men, when the women enter the room, the men have to stand up.
Okay.
They hold the doors for all the women.
Mhm.
There's sort of it's the whole point of the
Sounds
exercise
harmless.
is to illustrate how what was considered chivalry in medieval times was in fact completely sexist.
Mhm.
The women have to pick up after the men.
Uh-huh.
There are all these constructions that they have that it's meant to show like look at
Look
at
how
how
things used
sexist
to
actually
be.
was.
Right.
But of course, parents got hold of it, went on Facebook, started talking to each other, spinning the hamster wheel. All of a sudden, it reaches hysterical levels, and letters of complaint are written, and the tradition is struck. Now, the kids who offered, sort of thoughts on this to the paper in which I read this were pretty aware. Like I was impressed with their perspective on it. They were like, look, we get what the teacher's trying to do. A lot of kids actually look forward to this day.
Mm-hmm.
They have their outfits planned out. They understand it.
It's an exercise.
Exactly. Having said that, I can understand why people would have been upset by it.
Mm-hmm.
And it honestly sounded like, and by the way, the kids had the option to take part or not.
Right.
And if they didn't want to take part, they just had to write like a 1-page paper on chivalry in medieval times.
Got it.
So it sounded like the kids had a total awareness of this, and yet the parents were the ones who overwoked it.
Interesting.
And I think this is probably the case a lot of the time.
Interesting. It makes sense.
That our generation and maybe the parents of the generation above, maybe these youngsters like the Gen Zs and whatnot,
they're a little more pragmatic.
They're less hyper woke than we think.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the world will recorrect
right
a little bit back.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I
But
hope so.
but my question was, did you have any assignments or role-playing things in high school that looking back on would not fly today whatsoever?
Not like that, but I remember like in elementary school, the teacher, if you had a loose tooth, she would just like reach in your mouth and pull it out for you.
Wow.
But like that would not be okay today.
No.
But besides that,
Barbaric.
I can't think of any like particular rituals that we did that wouldn't be okay still.
I have one.
What was it?
And it's so funny because I didn't think of this until I read this article. And then it triggered this memory of something that we did in high school that like I didn't think a whole lot of. And looking back, I am astonished that this flew. It was AP US history. I was a junior. I won't say the teacher's name. First day of class. First day. By the way, brand new teacher. He had just come into the school, but he was
coming in hot.
He had already been hired as like the baseball coach. I'm leaving a pretty easy trail of breadcrumbs, whatever. For the sake of his reputation, I'm lying. So okay, we walk into class. Everyone's heard about this guy. He's also a pretty attractive guy. So like the girls were already talking about the hot new teacher. And he tells half the class to go to we like push all the desks to the periphery of the room. And then he tells half the class to stand in the front of the class. And then he tells the other half to stand at the back. He sends me to the front of the class. He then has everyone in the front of the class, he like tapes off this really small area and tells us that we have to, all of us, like 10 of us, get into this really small area for some reason. We don't know what's going on. Jesus. So we're kind of trying to like configure ourselves getting into this. And he tells us to lie down. But like we have to lie on top of each other.
Jesus.
And we're like, what the fuck is going on? Nobody really knows what's going on, right? And he tells us to, and he's like, okay, remember that discomfort. Now, stand up, and I want everyone to start doing push-ups and count how many push-ups you can do in 1 minute. And we're like, what the fuck? Okay. So we start doing push-ups, right? I probably did the most. I was like, it was like me and, some nerds and some whatever. Yeah. But I was an athlete, so I probably did the most, right? And then he tells the people in the back of the class to start bidding on us.
Oh.
And of course,
like
they're like, I'll give $40 for Francis. I'll give $50. Like, and each person in the back had a certain amount of money that they were allowed to use. They had a budget. So they're like, I'll give $10 for this guy. And, first of all, it's insulting to the people who are getting really low bids. But more importantly, it was all an exercise to simulate a slave auction.
Yeah, Jesus.
And the passage of the slaves on the ship in terrible quarters.
Yeah.
And we figured this out halfway through, and people like got into the exercise of it. It's not a particularly diverse student body that we had at this public school that I went to. And his whole point was like to illustrate the horrors of and the lack of humanity of a slave auction and the cramped passage on the ships. But he's simulating slavery. That was his whole point.
That could potentially cause outrage.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That would be written up in the fucking Wall Street Journal, the New York Times. That teacher would be fired today.
Yeah, he could be.
So that was the thing. Looking back.
He thought he was like, I'm going to come into that school and blow everyone's mind.
Got a great exercise for day one. We're going to start hot.
That is crazy, man. You're right. That would definitely be a controversial thing today.
Yeah.
If you guys have any of those, let us know. Of shit that like when you were a kid or that was like fine in school or whatever, or even just like a sports coach or something. Like there was definitely, I don't know. There's some weird coaches, but even at the time, I remember my parents being like, guy's a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
My brother's baseball coach.
Yeah. Coaches, I had some run-ins. That is Oops the Podcast.
Oops the P.
We appreciate you guys listening. Send any of your horrific role-playing assignments from high school into oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Talk to us about anything, really. We love your emails and your DMs. I'm Francis CC Ellis on Instagram. He's not Julio with a J. Follow our Instagram account, Oops the Podcast. Follow our TikTok. And follow the YouTube as well, because that's a fun place where we air all of our episodes front to back.
Front to back.
We will see you guys soon. Thanks for listening.
If you like this video, we have a bunch more. Just like and subscribe to our channel, and you can get all the videos you want.
Oops.